Jeannie, question.
Yep.
Have you ever worked with a stylist?
No.
Never. Never in your entire life?
No.
So every outfit that you've put together, including your wedding, you were the visionary. You tried and, it either worked for you or it didn't.
Sure. I've researched things, from stylists to get ideas, but no, ultimately all the decisions, came from me.
Okay.
Or maybe I wish I could have.
Or like sometimes you see a look and you're like, I've done this where I'm out and I'm like, oh my goodness, I love exactly what she's wearing. And then I go home and I Google and I'll be like, wide-legged trousers that are linen and white.
Oh my God. You know what I always say? I swear I always say girls dress for girls.
Oh yeah, probably. Totally.
You know what I mean?
I remember you've said that before.
I do. I always say that. Absolutely. And then sometimes I'll get ideas, but it's like, I'm just not brave enough. Still, at 35, I'm not brave enough. Like, I want to wear this. This would be so cool. Like, should I just pinch these earrings on with this type of shirt? And those, nope, won't do it.
Yeah. There was one time I remember going, I was actually with a girlfriend of mine and we were starting to look at bridesmaids dresses and we went to, it was either like Nordstrom or Bloomingdale's or Saks Fifth Avenue because we bopped around. I don't remember which store it was. But when we were in the dressing room, there was a woman that had come in and she offered to be our stylist. She was like, this is what I do. I work for the department store. And you can call me ahead and tell me what event that you are going to, and I'll start to pull things for you so that when you come, almost like a private shopper, and then it would be there for you to try it on. And I was just like, I didn't want to disappoint her because here I am going in I'm going to probably buy something so little that I don't want to waste your time.
I'll get the keychain, thanks.
That's right.
Wait a second. You did take risks though. Your wedding gown was it was like a blush pink.
That's right. And it was not planned. It was like I was at a bridal shop and went to the bathroom and passed it on the way to the bathroom and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, those are the best finds though.
Yeah.
The ones that you don't overthink and it hits you, it touches your heart and you're like, that's it. That's right. That's what it's going to be.
Like, how can I be a little bold with still being like romantic? And
yeah, you try. You're braver than I am, but I respect that. I love that.
Yes. I mean, sometimes I come off just looking homeless, but I always try to do something.
It's okay. But you take the risk.
I take the risk. So
it's one extreme. I'm either living out of a box or I'm going to a wedding. It's never a middle ground.
There's never a middle ground. I mean, you see me right now. I'm like, I just went to put a sweater on when it's like 90 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Because my air conditioner was making me cold.
Yeah, of course. Speaking of style, today we have, now, am I saying this correctly? Maggie Cavanagh?
Yeah.
Hi, Maggie.
Good Irish name.
I love it. I love it. And I'm so excited. We are so excited to chat with you. And, when I read about the description rather of your business, it really intrigued me, specifically when you talked about, your love for styling, what you call, the unique bride. Mm-hmm. Can you describe that really quick? And I know we're going to talk about other facets of your business, but I just wanted to really briefly define that for me, if you can.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, I believe obviously that all brides are unique brides, but some brides have more unique needs. So different brides I've worked with in the past might be second-time brides that are in their like 60s, 70s. I even worked with someone that was in their 80s one time.
Getting married?
Yeah, it was their second wedding. They had a gorgeous Lazaro sparkly gown. So we can get into that later, but age is really just a number. I've worked with brides that are 6'2" and, helping them find that extra length. Plus size brides that are really anxious going into an appointment and don't really know where to start or what stores are going to have their style or sizing. And so it's so important to give them that unique experience that they'll treasure forever.
And feel how they should feel, which, like any bride, which is amazing. And
exactly.
Now let's rewind for a second. So introduce yourself. So you are a stylist?
Okay. I started out in the bridal industry fairly young. I was 20 when I got into it. It was a local like mom and pop store. I kind of just went there and I said, I don't have any customer service background. I don't have any styling background, but I'm very passionate and I'm a quick learner.
Perfect. You were
And
green, as we all need to be when we first
yeah,
start. Yep.
and so they took me in and really shaped me. And throughout college, I worked part time doing bridal styling. And eventually, when I got out of college, I had all of these friends getting engaged. I had family members. I come from a very large Irish Catholic family. And they were
Mm-hmm.
asking for help, like, where do I start? Where do I go? I had an aunt, second time marriage, a cousin that I talked about, like the 6'2" bride. And they just had no idea what kind of stores were going to have what they needed, or, would their style still be able to show through for what they wanted. And so that's exactly the need I was able to fit when creating my business Isle Styled, is to help all the brides out there who just really don't know where to start with either their bridal gown or their bridesmaids looks, having a cohesive look, or styling them from events like their engagement party all the way down to the day they walk down the aisle on their honeymoon.
So that's amazing. So you have a talent for styling, and you were able to connect and or link that also to your love for actually helping people, helping
Yeah.
women specifically in this industry feel as they should. Like I mentioned, just beautiful, special on this day. And
Yeah.
is that what Isle Styled is really about?
Yeah, Isle Styled is about making everyone feel beautiful, no matter where they come from, and really just having a huge experience where they get the tips and tricks that no one else is really telling them ahead of time. There's so many different things people don't know. Like, for instance, if you are a size 14, 16, you might be actually wearing an 18 or 20 size dress on your day. And that can really throw a lot of brides off when they're shopping and then they go to buy the dress. But when you come to me, I'll give you all of this information. So you're prepared ahead of time and you just understand that your body is beautiful just the way it is, and to not get so caught up in everything that might hit you by surprise.
So it doesn't have to be brick and mortar, right? Because you're out of the greater Philadelphia area.
I am.
But on your site, it mentions that you meet with people on Zoom. So initially, talk us through the process. Like, I'm a bride, I just got engaged, and I don't even know where to start. I just know, I want to spend X amount on my gown, but I don't know what silhouette to go. I don't know which fabric to think about. I have no idea how to accessorize, what I want to do with my hair. So this is where you come in. Walk us through the process if you can.
I can. So if you're a newly engaged bride, I'll do a free consultation because I believe that everything, you're going to be spending so much money. So why not just start with something free? So you can come to me and we'll do a Zoom chat where we're going to get down your style, what kind of things you like. So maybe you don't even have an idea. You can send me some like Pinterest pictures you've been looking at. What do you wear on a daily basis? What makes you comfortable? What makes you happy to be in? What kind of silhouettes have worked in the past that you've worn? And we'll kind of narrow down your style. And I'll suggest some like fabrics that I think might work for you. But it's mainly about getting to know you as a bride. So then if you decide that you really like our chat, you can kind of see the picture come together, what you might look like. You can then, for $150, I'll send you an outline that is 3 to 5 pages or 3 to 6 pages. And from there, we will discuss the fabrics that we talked about, styles, silhouettes. I'll send specific dresses from designers that I really like for you. So, for instance, Beholden is really great for boho brides. They have a really large selection of extended sizes as well as they do extra length as well, I believe. So that's a really good go-to. So I'll send all this information in the outline, everything that you need to know. And then I also do per appointment, it's about $50. And I'll book your appointment, make sure all the dresses that we discussed are going to be there. And I'll attend with you. This is great for brides that maybe don't have family in the area or their friends aren't in the area, and I can come with them. There's going to be a stylist at every store, but stylists work all day with customers just back to back. I mean, I used to do it, I know. And as much as you want to focus on the bride, it's nice to have a second opinion there of someone who's not trying to sell you on anything.
Oh, very good point. So how does this work if somebody's out of town?
As far as the appointments, I can't do the out of town, but I can Zoom. I've been kind of like playing with that idea of if you need someone like Zoomed, if you're out of the area. I can do all brides in the greater Philadelphia area as far as appointments, but for the informational outline, I can do that in Canada and the US. I'll look up the stores on your area, and I mean, a bride is a bride no matter what. So the shapes, the sizes, the designers, I'll know all of that based on your region.
I love that.
No, I was curious. It's like you put a whole little portfolio together for the bride in a way. And I also I was reading about how you kind of curate like a style for sort of everything to kind of be very cohesive with the bride and the bridesmaids, her bridesmaids.
Yes.
So, how does that work? Like, do you create these dresses for the bridesmaids based on the information that the bride's giving you? Do you need to see what the other ladies, what their body types look like? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so again, that's gonna be kind of looking at, like, a mood board of, like, what they really like,
Okay.
the colors that they're looking for at the wedding, and then again, like, there are bridesmaids of shapes and sizes because if you're looking to do maybe, like, the same Jenny U designer, for instance, and you wanna do it in her seafoam color, then it's a matter of figuring out which dresses go together. Do you wanna do a floral print with it? Maybe for, like, the maid of honor,
Oh,
and
that's so cool. Because, in my experience when I was planning my wedding, that was a challenge for me. I think I had 8 or 9 bridesmaids, all different body types, and I worried. I was having anxiety over it because I know for myself as a woman, you don't want anyone to tell you what to wear at a certain point. You just
yeah.
don't because you don't know if it's going to work for you. Although the day is not about you, so you swallow that, you put that aside. But it's still, it's concerning. Like if you have a bigger chest or something and the girl's choosing a dress that's, you're hanging out of it, or you're a tiny girl, it's not flattering for your figure. You just look like an ironing board or something. That would be one of my problems. You want to look nice. And I remember just feeling really anxious about that. So like looking back, that's one of the reasons why I probably this would have been very useful for me in this regard too. Some of my girls were a little uncomfortable, I could tell. I
Yeah,
did my best, but
yeah, no, I'm sure you did. And it's so important for everyone to feel comfortable because it really shows in the pictures. And even though it's like the bride's day and the groom's day, or both bride's days or both groom's days, it's so important for everyone to feel comfortable because it'll show in the pictures. And you want to have these happy pictures and these happy moments where everyone feels comfortable in what they're looking like and what they're wearing.
hmm
And, just love who they are and, let that
hmm
show through their outfit.
I
that's
have to
right.
say that the bridesmaids' dresses that we went with our wedding, everybody looks stunning.
What did you go with? I don't think I remember seeing them.
They were Vera Wang. They were long, and I think they were one shoulder gray, and they had sort of this like ribboning coming down. I just know that like the dress itself wasn't like a stellar dress, like, oh my goodness, I have to have that dress. But it was neutral enough where everybody's face and personality was able to really shine. Like when I look at our wedding pictures and I look at pictures of my sisters and my close friends that were part of the wedding party, they completely outshined me. I hated myself in my wedding pictures. I hated like 90% of myself, but they all looked beyond stunning. Where I was just like, you couldn't look prettier right now. Like they were beamed down from the heavens of like just being gorgeous.
Oh my God, I can't. You complained about everything. You said that your hair looked like a garlic knot
No, I said
on the side of your head.
it looked like a tumor, but a garlic knot is perfect as well. It looked like a tumor. But then I took it down and I did like this side swept thing. It worked out, but that was going back to like just ladies do a hair trial before your wedding day. Don't wing it. No, but in regard to bridesmaids' dresses, I felt like for me what worked was just something more on the neutral end of things. Because when I see these bridesmaids' dresses in pictures where they're like bold and everybody's in like a Cabernet or everybody's in this like seafoam green or peach and they're identical, it almost brings me to this feeling of just like symmetry and you can't get away with being yourself. Everything has to look picture perfect and it's weird for me, right? Like it just doesn't seem authentic. But that's me. I know that there are a lot of people out there that this is what they want. So how does that work with bridesmaids' dresses? Like you have the consult with the bride and they come to you with possibly some colors that they're thinking for their wedding, I'm imagining, right? Do you talk about who's involved and what their shapes are?
Yeah, so we do. So we, I'll usually ask for like a picture of some of their bridesmaids. I'll ask them like what kind of colors are they leaning towards, and do they want to mix and match colors? So something that's been really popular, especially for spring and summer, is mixing like beiges, creams, browns, champagne colors. So one time we did that, and it looked really stunning to kind of have a mix of everything. And then shapes that really fit everyone, whether it was like a cow neck back or a V neck or a scoop neck.
Oh, I love that.
Some were a little bit more fitted, some were more A-line or like an adjusted sleigh A-line. There's so many different things we can do. It really just depends on what the bride is looking for, and I'm there to help 1000% of the way.
Do you help facilitate with all types of weddings, like Indian weddings?
Yeah,
because it's such a different. Oh my God, they're so vibrant and amazing. Like, it's a totally different ball game, you know?
Yeah, even the colors that are appropriate for those kind of weddings are
Right.
completely different. I haven't done any in the past, but it is something that I'm open to,
Yeah.
and it would definitely help with because I am well researched in it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the South Asian brides actually, they make a trip to India to get the attire. It's like because they have it there, the pricing is better. So many brides that I've talked to, they're like, well, I'll be out of touch for a couple of weeks because I'm going to India to go get my gown and all the bridesmaids, dresses and everything.
So gorgeous. I just got the chills.
So they actually go and, buy everything there.
I would feel so important saying that. Like, I'm just going to take a trip to India right now to get everything for my wedding.
I would love to do that. Can you imagine? Like, be
it's
back.
Amazing.
Gonna go get my dress.
See you in 14 days. I'm really important. Don't talk to me until then. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's something kind of cool. Now, give us a little advice on sizes and shapes. So let's say I'm listening and I'm 5'1",
Okay.
and I'm round. And, like an apple. Maybe I'm about like 15 to 20 pounds overweight.
Okay.
What's my silhouette that I should be focusing on?
So I personally would not do something overly fitted or a ball gown. I think it's really whatever you're comfortable with. I think straps or strapless, I think for height, for me personally, is not a big deal. It's going to be what you feel comfortable in. I know a lot of brides won't rock a strapless look because they're so afraid of it coming down on them during the wedding if they're like jumping around.
Oh.
But that's really not a problem. If you get a good alteration specialist, your dress will come in great. Another thing I would say with a shorter bride who's maybe 10 to 15 pounds, there are some designers, and it's something that I would send them in their packet, is you can do split sizing. So split sizing is when you take the bust, the waist, and the hip measurements, and you have it fitted to each size. So if I'm a 10 in the bust, a 12 in the waist, and a 10 in the hips, they're going to send that dress to you in those 3 different sizes in that area. So it's almost like custom fitted to you. So you have less alterations. So sometimes this happens during trunk shows. They'll offer it as part of the deal. If you buy during a trunk show, they'll do the split sizing. Otherwise, it usually costs extra. Not all designers do it. And there's another thing that's really great during trunk shows too that I talk about with brides is a hollow to hem measurement. So that's going to be great for our taller brides who measure from their collarbone down to where their shoes and feet are going to be. So exactly where they want the hem to fall.
Oh, okay. Now, is this considered made to measure? The 12, size 12, size 10, size 12?
Yeah, it's called split sizing.
Split sizing. Okay. But that's different than made to measure, because made to measure is sort of like every little measurement taken and then they create the gown according to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now what about accessories?
Well, I was going to ask about jewelry. Do you advise on that as well?
Yeah, if it's something that a bride is looking for, then I definitely will advise on it. So typically that's part of it, unless they have, I know recently someone was getting a veil passed down from their sister, so that was something they were really looking for advice on, but they weren't sure what kind of jewelry they wanted. They had a very sparkly dress, so I just started doing a clean pendant on their neck and clean earrings. So for brides that have a more clean look, maybe doing a little bit more sparkle, a little bit of a thicker necklace if that's something they're into. But some brides really just wanted a little bit more plain, and we'll talk about what looks good plain. That's the kind of stuff that they pay for. So I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, that's really the unique part about the business, is customizing it to what they want.
So Maggie, one of the things that I absolutely love about this service is, first of all, when you're venturing out, I'm just thinking about myself and how I would go shopping. I usually start with Pinterest, or I'll start with I'll Google a celebrity that I really like their style. So for me, it's usually Katie Holmes. I love
Really?
Yes.
I'm not saying really she's amazing, but I know just, it's I wouldn't have pegged you for that.
She's not very dynamic. It's because she dresses very classy, but still kind of cool. She's cool and funky, but classy. So that's my like person that I would want to emulate. So usually I'll like Google her and I'll be like, what is she dressing like lately?
I love everything.
Let me look her up.
Yeah.
That's funny. Like now that you say it like that, there was only one outfit you wore that I hated.
Oh, I know. You told me about it for like 2 weeks straight. Okay.
That's a good friend.
We were at dinner and she was like, oh, no. Like, I'm not liking that dress. it was this line.
And then you got up and Natalia is a coworker of ours, and she's always very quiet, and she just shook her head in disbelief. She's like, yeah, that's just not okay.
It's this line that Target was carrying that all of the dresses looked very Little House on the Prairie. And then I saw, I don't know if you watched The Handmaid's Tale, but it was like, it basically came up like, why is Target carrying a Handmaid's Tale like outfits? Like, when are they going to get rid of this line of work?
I couldn't. It just reminded me of what they gave me when I had Johnny in the hospital. Because I was
this like matronly gown,
like a
and I tried
gown.
to make it like really funky with a bunch of jewelry and like this big overcoat. It just and then I wore like gold studded boots. Like I thought it was gonna be like the coolest look. It was a miss. It was a miss. And she told me about it. She still talks about how like horrible it was.
But look, you took a risk. I do respect that. I do. Honestly.
Well, it's so interesting too how social media and just media in general like informs our fashion. And I think Bridgerton has been like a huge inspiration for New York Bridal Fashion Week recently.
People are obsessed with it, and I have yet to see the show, but like I hear it's like this like guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I think gloves are really starting to come back. And
oh my God, yes! No, I saved all my grandmother's gloves. I did from the 1920s. I have all of her gloves.
This is great news because my hands are like Squatamat's hands. They're like the shortest, stubbiest. Look at them.
Ew! Now you're gonna make me stare at them. Stop.
They're so little. So gloves would be like they're just perfect. Like cover it up.
Yeah, and we saw it recently too at the Met Gala at the Gilded Glamour themed Met Gala that just occurred this month in May. So yeah, gloves are definitely making a comeback. Some of these higher waistlines.
Oh, I'm seeing that constantly, which I love. It's so flattering.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous. And it fits so many different body shapes and really can be thinning for the correct woman.
Oh, I need to know more about this. So what do I Google? Higher waisted dresses?
Yeah, high waist bridal gowns. So
well, because like
natural waist, waist, high waist.
I think most women, we carry our weight lower. So the higher portion of the torso, it's like you can always kind of get
What do you know about carrying weight? Okay.
Listen, I'm telling you.
What do you know about women
but
carrying it
even with me, like when I put like the high waisted shorts on, I feel like it's just more flattering. I don't know. You don't? You said you love high waisted stuff.
Yeah, I do. It looks great.
Sorry, we get off topic.
Okay. But back to what I really love about this service is usually the approach is going for a look, but you don't even know like where to start with that. So then you would go to a store, but a store is going to have their own incentives in mind of what they're going to try to sell to you. Like maybe they get a perk if they sell this particular line of gown. I don't know how it works, but maybe they're just trying to make a quota. So they're going to tell you anything to make you have a sale that day, make them have a sale that day. So what I love about this is it's completely unbiased and objective, and your fee is really reasonable. I mean, for $150 to have somebody like in your pocket to say, this is what looks good on you, this is what doesn't look good on you, these are the designers that you want to like target and then accessorize, I feel like that's a very, very good service.
Valuable. Yeah, very valuable for sure.
Yeah, it definitely saves those busy brides a lot of time and energy. So like the brides that are doing it planning on their own feel really overwhelmed by life and work and just kind of need someone that will guide them and help them. It's just really what I'm there for, and they're to make them feel special and happy and like someone's really looking out for them.
And do you get a lot of inquiries?
Yeah, I do actually. I've only been up and running for about like a month or so, but it's been doing pretty well recently.
I think this is really amazing because you know your ideas, because that's the one thing it never occurred to me, a stylist. Like I thought of event planners, although I didn't have one. I never thought of a stylist. And I truly don't know why. And the fact that that's available, I mean, looking back, like I said, my issue with my bridesmaids gowns particularly, this is something I definitely would have explored. 1,000,000%.
Very large hole in the market.
Yeah, because exactly. And I'm never confident with and I know a lot of women feel like that when it comes to style. So this is, I mean, I think it's fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot from you guys. Like I said, I've been listening, long time listener, first time caller.
That's so cool.
Oh, first time caller. Love it. And
so sweet.
And it's so funny because you reached out on Instagram and I'm like, I don't know how to use Instagram. I'm 95. I have it just because the kids have it now. There's this thing on Instagram where you can send a message, and I had so many messages.
Oh my God!
These people probably thought I ignored them. I don't know how long it had been since you had reached out, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Thank you for reaching out, but I just discovered that like you can send a message on here, meaning I can actually receive messages. So that's how we were able to connect initially. But really quick, the only designer that I've had experience working with is like an interior designer. Mm-hmm. And they have their own aesthetic. So you go to their website, you see this.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I know where you go.
They have like a through line to their work where you're like, that's for me or that's not. Like everything is like super classic or colonial or very modern, very minimal. How does this work with styling? And taking like bride and bridesmaid aside, because it's such a specific type of look, that you're going for. Let's say I'm going to the prom or I have a big gala to go to, and I reach out to you and I'm starting from scratch because I'm not just limited to bridal gowns. The whole world is my oyster. Long, short, pantsuit, whatever it is. Like, do you have this aesthetic that you bring? Like, are you like super trendy, super classic? Where do you go with that?
So I have my own personal style. I love classic with like a bit of a trend to it. So taking very clean looks and adding accessories that are trendy. But for me, that's not what's important. It's what does the bride want? What does the customer want? I'm not going to superimpose my views and what I like onto them because that wouldn't be fair. So if I have a bride that's more Art Deco, I have a list of designers that I carry just like in my back pocket that I know I can send to them, and then narrow it down based on what they're looking for more individually. And if they are boho, again, another list. So it really doesn't matter what look I have. It's really important to me what they have.
I guess a lot of styling a person. I mean, I think you kind of briefly mentioned this earlier. I think it probably starts from getting just to literally know them. Yeah. What inspires them, who they are as an individual. I mean, it's not just about how their body looks, I would assume.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, that is a piece of the puzzle, but I really enjoy trying to create, depending on the bride, like a mood board with them, like during that Zoom session, to really narrow down like what they like, what they find pretty, who inspires them, like what celebrities, like, you talk about Kate Holmes, like Kate Holmes inspires you, like who Emma Stone inspires me. I love her very classic.
Oh, I love her. Oh. Yeah, she's amazing.
Emma Stone.
Yeah, like who do you want to look like? Or I mean, you want to look like you, but like who really like gets your fashion like tingles going?
Sometimes I think it's a dream of mine to have somebody come in and go, like, who cares about what you're used to wearing or what
you like you got it all wrong?
Yeah,
like let me show you what you can be.
Like I've always like secretly hoped that when I go to get my hair cut that they're like, oh no, we're going in this direction, and they just like create this all new me. I'm wondering, I almost wish I had this where you like I had somebody just say, this is what you're gonna wear, and it's totally different and outside of the box than anything else that I would have thought. But then you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, like this is so interesting.
I've actually done that before, and that's the really great thing about having someone come with you to the appointments. So for one of my clients, she was a second-time bride, and she was so nervous about dressing like too sparkly, too glamorous. She's from the South. She's from Atlanta, Georgia. She's got this kind of boho vibe, but she's also very girly and glamorous. So when we were shopping up here in Pennsylvania, we had started by looking at more like toned down, very beautiful, but like boho looks. And I could tell, like, she's just a sparkly person and she's got such a bright personality, and she kind of wanted that sparkle, but was almost afraid. So eventually, by our second appointment at a local store, I kind of pushed her to go to this Pronovia's A-line sparkle gown that she was super hesitant to try on. But once she tried on, she knew immediately it was the one.
Oh,
I think that's great. Yeah, and she looked stunning. She's on my page. She has her 2 daughters next to her, I believe. And yeah, you can check her out at islestyle.com and see how wonderful she looks in Second Time Bride. And it's definitely great that we were able to pivot and do that for her.
Oh my God.
That's so.
Now I want to get styled.
I know, right? Just
like,
to
I
have
just want
like
to be different. I want to
sometimes
like.
you need permission to be like you need permission to dress sparkly. Well, Jean, you don't need permission to dress sparkly. Okay, her like middle name is Sparkle.
I know, it's so true. Now, like my challenge is the next wedding that I go to. I'm just gonna find something that I would never normally wear.
Yeah,
that's my challenge. This is my takeaway right now because I feel like I just want to like explore and not be afraid and change it up. I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
That's okay. I was going to ask you about prom. Like when you know, because you do prom styling too. Are there trends going on right now? You know, is it like they all want to dress like little like 16-year-old sluts? Or are they?
Yeah, what is like? No, seriously. Yeah, what's the deal? One thing I will say is these girls that are like these high school girls look like they're 25 to 35 years old right now. I mean that in a I don't know how I mean that. I mean they're gorgeous, but I'm just like, oh my God, that's scary that you're only 16 or 18 years old. Like when I was 16, I looked horrible. Like when I look back on the pictures, I looked the most, if you could imagine the most awkward face in the universe, like it was horrible. Like I didn't blossom into anything until I was in my 20s. Like it was horrendous is the word. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. So, I mean, these girls got it together.
So let's talk about prom.
Props to them.
Yeah. So definitely very elegant, sophisticated looks we're seeing.
Oh, good.
Especially on this area where I'm at. Definitely some sparkle for our sparkle.
Uh-huh.
And we're starting to see a little bit more like A-lines, ball gowns mixed in with the more form-fitting dresses. Starting to see a little bit more ombre in like our colored looks. If you remember like Jessica Chastain at the Oscars, she had that really gorgeous copper to lilac ombre. So kind of things like similarly based off that style.
Yes.
Oh, Jessica Chastain. It was literally the only gown that I liked from the entire night. Everyone that got on the stage, I was like, what? Who? I know you're working with a stylist. Like, they all need to go back to school.
And it's different working with brides and prom girls, but at the end of the day, they all have the same goal of wanting to feel stunning and shine at the, for their night.
Oh, that's true. And still feel comfortable, because there is listen, we've all had those gowns where you go out and you feel like $1 million, but you can't really function.
Yes. And that's so important.
It's so true, Tosh. Yeah.
So now,
oh my God, I wore a romper the other day at a party and I couldn't pee. Like I was like, how am I gonna, and it was such a beautiful romper. And I was like, how am I going to go to the bathroom? Like my husband, I was like, can you unzip this for me? How awkward. Like, but yeah, no, it's true. But you could still be comfortable and be beautiful and feel beautiful at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. I've loved every bit of this episode. It's been so informative.
Yes. Thank you so much, Maggie.
What advice would you give to our listeners, whether they're brides or thinking about bridesmaids or, have a big event that they're going to? It could be a baby shower, a bridal shower, whatever it is. Like, what advice do you have?
I would tell them they're not alone, that the anxiety, the stress, that feeling of, am I good enough? You're not the only one feeling it. And I guarantee you, just being you and feeling comfortable is what's going to make you feel more beautiful and really shine and be more radiant at the end of the day. So feeling like you are comfortable, feeling like you're well styled is very important. And just be comfortable and, be you and know that you have a gorgeous body. All bodies are bridal bodies, prom bodies, so on and so forth.
I love that you just said that. We are, and you know what, girls, we are our hardest judge.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah.
The way we see ourselves is not the way other people see us. And I think my mom told me that once, and that was like, it stuck with me. I banished, you talk yourself out of the negative talk. When you walk into the room and you're feeling great, You know, some girls, and then you see someone else and what they're wearing, and like your mood shifts a little bit. It's like you can't let that happen ever. You know,
because that's a very good point too.
It's so true. All women do this, whether you say it or not. We all do it. It's just no comparison, and no one's looking at you the way you're feeling about yourself. It's all about how you feel about yourself.
That's right. You got to light up from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I love that.
I mean, not to sound cliche, but you know, you got to light up from the inside. So how do we find you? I'm a listener. How do I find you?
So you can find me on www.aisle.styled. So that's AISLE styled.com. And you can also find me on Instagram at aisle_styled.
Ooh, I will resurrect my Instagram and I will find you. Aisle_style.
Perfect.
Okay, you did. Okay, of course you
yes.
did.
I know. Maggie, thank you so much. You're so incredibly sweet and talented, and we were so happy to have you today and to learn about your business. I wish you so much luck. I know you're going to be super successful, and you have an amazing heart. I can see the heart going into it, and I like the energy behind what you're creating. I think that's where it should come from.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I really love what I do, and you know, the more I can help people, you know, the better I feel, because I just want to make everyone feel as beautiful and have that experience that they really should.
Your family's really lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Just like have you in your pocket to be like, oh my gosh, help.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. And I look forward to reconnecting, you know?
Yes, of course. Definitely stay up to date with you guys.
Thanks, Maggie.
Thank you for listening to this episode of So You're Engaged, Now What? If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and rate us wherever you listen. It really helps.
If you'd like to reach out with any questions or suggestions, please email our team at podcast@livepicturestudios.com. This podcast is hosted by Jeannie Singari and Natasha Sherritt-Lacari.
It's produced by Jeannie, Natasha, Nicole Palmetti, and Christiana Krimmel. It's been edited by Crizel Peniquito and Nicole Palmetti.
Artwork has been created by Joe Nunez, and music has been supplied by Ian Post and Artlist.io. And this podcast is brought to you by K-Vibe Studios.
Until next time, bye and happy planning.